Yes. Now you are able to see the board, right? Whiteboard.
Yes, sir.
So you followed, right? So now in the last class, we have this buckling of plates only we were discussing. Okay. So now what we have started in our last class is this stiffened plates, because this is a very the important thing. Okay. See, I hope all of you know, right? Why plates are basically. No. See, like a plate girder, if you see, bridges or any long dimensions of the plate, say, okay. So why do we provide, this stiffeners? Okay. So I hope all of you know. So if you want to increase the buckling strength of a plate, say, okay. So now the only way is, you have to increase its thickness. So if you want to increase the buckling strength, so you would have seen that formula, that simply supported plates we have derived in our previous class. So if you want to increase buckling strength, you have to increase the thickness of the plate, and then or make it less slender, something like that you have to do. So which happens, so if you increase the thickness of the plate, say, or if you do alterates the dimensions, automatically the weight increases, and this becomes uneconomical. Okay. So now in so people what they do in reality, so that so here if you want to increase the thickness of the plate without changing its dimensions. Okay. So we want to increase the buckling strength of the plate without touching its dimensions. The only way is you have to provide this stiffeners. So that is why stiffeners are widely used in thin walled structures. Okay. So like essential structures are in our plate girders everywhere. So we provide this stiffeners. So now in our last class, we have started how to analyze these type of stiffened plates. So you can have a longitudinal, or you can have the vertical stiffeners also. How do we handle these type of problems? So this is what we were discussing. So I think we already started the derivation. So we have taken a plate like this, so which is subjected to this nx. So this was our the load, that is a compressive load. So now to increase its stiffness, so we have provided a small stiffener at the middle of the plate. So this is our stiffener. So now what last generally we used to take origin at the corners of the plate. Because of the stiffener, we just for our simplicity say, okay, so we have taken our origin at the stiffener itself. So this is x and this is y. So now this is our stiffener. So if you take any cross section, say suppose if you take any section a, so this will look like something like this. So I have a stiffener here. So this is how the stiffener looks like. So this is Z, and of course here you have W1. So this is a deflection of this side and the deflection at this side. Okay. So this is how we have drawn. So this is a plus B by 2 and this is minus B by 2. So this is our plate, and of course this is A. This length of the plate is A. These are the dimensions. And here the width is B. So we have divided it into two pieces, B by 2, B by 2. So there are basically, we are assuming, although it is a single plate, we are assuming it as two plates. Okay, at this B by 2, B by 2 kind of thing. So this was our problem which we formulated in our last class. So now, as already I told you, so if you want to solve these type of problems, say, so what one does is, wherever there is a stiffener, so generally, for our easy, this one, what we do is, instead of solving as one plate, you solve as two plates. Okay. And then you approximate, and then you apply the boundary conditions, which are, at the edges as well as at the junction between these two plates, and then you solve the problem. So this is a philosophy which we are going to follow in our course. Okay. So now, so this is a plate 1 and this is a plate 2. So plate 1 deflection is given, so that is what is here we have indicated in this figure, and W2 is this side of the stiffener. So now we already know the solution because already we have done for the plates. So W1 say, so this we write as some sine n by x by a, and with y direction because we are not sure about the boundary conditions, so cos hyperbolic, so k1 times y plus c2 sine hyperbolic, so k1 times y plus c3 cos k2y plus c4 sine k2 times y. So this solution is valid for y greater than or equal to 0. Now when y is less than, say, okay, this that is the second plate, so the solution will be so sine n pi x by a. So everything remains same, but the constants are different. So cos hyperbolic k1 times y plus c2 bar sine hyperbolic k1 times y plus c3 bar, so cos k2 times y plus c4, say, okay, sine k2 times y. Okay, so this is a solution for the down plane, that is y less than 0. So now all of you know what are these k1, k2 and all those things we have written the previously. Okay, but the constants. Okay, so now we have to find out, so how many constants are there here. If you see here, so 1 2 3 4, so total 8 constants are there. Okay, so now we have to write all the boundary conditions, so to find out this constants. So now here so now the assumption is, so W1 and W2 say, so now at this junction of these two plates, so now here what is assumption? Stiffener, so that is y is equal to 0, that means exactly at the stiffener. So what should be W1 and W2? And the slopes, what should be the one? See this figure, say, okay. So now we are writing the boundary condition at this place, that is at y is equal to 0. What is that you ensure? We have to ensure at the junction
Continuity of deflection and slope.
continuity of deflection, so at y is equal to 0, and then you also have to ensure continuity of
Slopes.
slope also. Okay, so dou w1 by dou y, so this is dou w2 by dou y, so at y is equal to 0. So this is our boundary condition. Now apart from this, at y is equal to b by 2 plus or minus b by 2, so what are the conditions here? That is this side as well as this side. What is the boundary condition? Minus b by 2 and plus b by 2. Now we have assumed in our problem that all the edges are simply supported. So now if the edges are simply supported, say, what is the boundary conditions at y is equal to plus or minus b by 2? For simply supported, what's the boundary conditions?
Deflection in mx 0.
Deflection mx, but because all the edges are simply supported, say, okay. So the mx will have dou square w by dou x square. It also will have dou square w by dou y square also, because all the edges are simply supported. So last time we have written about simply supported, you can as a beam bending moment itself. So at y is equal to b by 2, so we write the bending moment, say, dou square w1 by dou y square. This itself is directly 0. Then of course deflection is also 0, so w1 is equal to 0. Then at y is equal to minus b by 2, so here also we have dou square w2 by dou y square is equal to 0. Then w2, say, this is also equal to 0. So now how many boundary conditions we are having? So 2 at y is equal to 0, then at y is equal to b by 2, and y is equal to minus b by 2. So total we are having 6 boundary conditions, okay, which comes from the edges. Now we have to get how many constants are there? 8 constants are there. So we have to get this additional 2 boundary conditions. Now, so this we have to search at this junction itself, that is at y is equal to 0. So we have to search here. So now you remember long back we have discussed when a plate is connected to a beam type of a structure, say, what was the boundary condition here? Now you remember long back when we discussed about boundary conditions in the last previous classes. So when a plate is connected to a beam, say, what was the boundary conditions we used? Any remember? Now
So the force must be same.
The force must be same. So we wrote, so for the beam, you know the equation, EI d to the power of 4 by dx to the power of 4. So that is equal to small q. Okay. So now, the load which transfers from the plate, and this one you have to take, and then the movements. So the bending moment in the plate, say, this is resisted by the twisting moments in the beam. Okay. So the twisting moment, that is a torque in the beam, say, so this should be equated to the bending moment. Then the load which is acting on the beams, it should be related to the shear forces. So this is how we wrote our the boundary conditions also. You can refer to you followed, right? I think last week we have written all the boundary conditions. So this has to be written. But now here the problem, what is the problem? What we are having here is this stiffener, say, so at this stiffener is connected to two plates, plate 1 and then the plate 2. So this is a junction. So you are having a one plate here and you have another plate here. So this also will give you shear force. This also will give you shear force kind of a thing. So now it is something like this. So if you are having a stiffener, say, okay, so if this is our stiffener, which is same as so you have a q1 which comes from this plate, and you have a q2, so this also comes from this plate, and you have the bending moments also, that is my1 it comes, and then my2 from this portion, and this is our q which is acting on the beam itself. So now this boundary conditions, we will write like this. So now for the plate equation, so there is a stiffener equation which is same as our beam equation. So you can write sigma nx as some sigma into a, say, the stress, and the area A is nothing but the area of your stiffener. Okay, so area of cross section of the stiffener. So then if you write, so our equation will be, so EI, okay, dou to the power of 4 W by dou x to the power of 4 plus P into, we write, so instead of that we are writing in terms of sigma into A, so dou square W by dou x square is equal to Q. So this is our stiffener equation, that is a beam equation, okay. So this equation is same for buckling of these columns we already wrote previously, that is EI, that is a fourth derivative, plus P into the second derivative is equal to Q. So using this equation, say, so this is the equation of the equilibrium for the stiffener. So now this is small q, so this is a load which comes from q1 minus q2, okay, the shear force which is coming from this side and the shear force which is coming from the second plate. So now the expressions for shear force, you remember, so long back we have written this expression. So this turns out to be, you can write in terms of like this, okay. So dou square w1 by, you say, dou y square plus 2 minus mu, so dou square w1 by dou x square. So these for the plate 1. Then the second one, say, dou square w2 by dou y square minus minus 2 minus mu dou square w2 by dou x square, okay. So what y is equal to 0. So this is our difference of the shear force. So this expression for shear force is given by these expressions. So one is for plate 1, another one is for plate 2. See, this also is very important here. See, why do we get big equations for shear forces? Do you remember previous classes we already discussed, whenever you write for shear force, what is that you have to do? See, previously you remember this equation, why we are writing like this? See, long back when we discussed about the boundary conditions, say, okay. So how did we write our equations, the boundary condition for shear force? You remember long back when it is a free edge, or for this one, whatever we made one important the observation. What is that observation? Do you remember?
That Kirchhoff equation, that the shear and the torsion.
Yes,
Torsion
yes.
comes.
Excellent.
Torsion
So
moment.
shear and the twisting movement, okay, both of them will be combined. That's why I hope you remember this expression, or we can even write that equation also. Long back we already wrote that expression. Okay. So when we what we said was so this equations long back when we said qx minus dou m xy by dou y. So this was our the load you followed, right, which comes on the beam actually. So this qx, if you substitute, mxy if you substitute, so this becomes dou by dou x. So dou square W by, you see, dou x square plus 2 minus mu, that is a Poisson's ratio. So dou square W by, dou y square. So this was a Kirchhoff boundary condition. So generally what Kirchhoff does is, the shear force and this twisting moments, we combine them in one go, because of, 3 will be there, we reduce it to 2, one shear force, one bending moment kind of a thing. So this is how we write. It is not just essentially the shear force, it is qx minus dou mx by, so you have a component which comes from the twisting moment, or that's a Kirchhoff boundary condition. So that's why, so this is our, the q1. So now since you are having two shear forces, say, so one is a q1, other one is q2. So this equation comes from there itself. Okay, so this is a very important thing, which you should not forget. Actually, when you write for the plates, essentially shear force and twisting moments, both of them are combined. So you will be having, this is expression for this shear force here. And now we write, so shear force is over. Now the distributed torque. Okay, so which comes from, the two bending moments. So one is this plate and this one. So m transpose is a torque, say, so my2 minus, my1. So this should be equated to the torsional rigidity. So previously, we wrote our when we wrote our equations, say, like when we wrote for the beam, so our equation was something like this. If you remember, so dou by dou y, so dou square W by dou z, dou y. So this is equal to the bending moment actually. So dou square W by, dou x square plus nu dou square W by dou y square. So this is how we wrote for a plate joined to a beam actually. Okay, so this was our boundary conditions, we wrote for this one, and we said C is your torsional rigidity. Okay, so this is how we wrote our boundary conditions long back. And now we have to write those for our plate, but only problem here we have is we have not one movement, we have my2 and we have my1 also. So both of them will be there. So my2 minus my1, say, from first plate and from the second plate. So this one will be, you see, minus d, so dou square W by dou y square, dou this one, my plus, mu dou square W2 by dou x square. Okay, so these are for one movement, and then we have another movement also, that is dou square W1 by dou y square. Okay, plus mu, so dou square W1 by dou x square. So this is our my2 minus my1, which we are calling as a distributed torque. Now this has to be equated to the torsional rigidity of our beam. So so on the stiffener, say, okay, so on the stiffener, so this my2 minus my1. So this should be equated to the torsional rigidity. You can write this equation, or you can write, that warping function and all other things also you can write. So Gj into, you already know these expressions, minus, this warping coefficient was there. So dou cube theta by dou x cube. So this is the torsional thing for the stiffener, that is for the beam. Okay, so you can write like this. So now, so this is how, we write. So these are the original, the boundary conditions. But now when you are analyzing this stiffeners, say, for the stiffener, whether the torsional rigidity will be large for a stiffener. See, beam may be fine, the stiffener in the plates. See how the stiffener will look like. You remember some small, a sheet kind of a thing will be there. The stiffeners, if you look in the plate girders or the plates, so for stiffeners generally the torsional rigidity will be high or small. See, beam is fine, but for stiffener, what will be the torsional rigidity compared to other rigidities? Yeah, see, has anybody seen the stiffeners, like, when you are going on the
Small,
road?
like
uh,
generally we have, sir, angle sections as a stiffness we use.
Angle sections only. So for angle sections, say, so this GJ and warping, they may not be that high also comparatively. Okay, so sometimes, so what one does is, so generally, this G, so we neglect it. Okay, so this torsional, the rigidities. Okay. Why? Of course you have to include that in our calculations also, but we try to neglect this one. The reason is the closed form solution will be very difficult to obtain if you include this term also. But when comparable things say, so these torsional rigidities can be neglected actually for the stiffener. Okay, so if you neglect this torsional things, so which means your right hand side will be 0. So which means so my2 is same as my1. So this is one or the distributed torque say. Okay, so this is basically equal to 0 at y is equal to 0. Okay, but suppose if the stiffeners are also very strong stiffeners say, so then this assumption may not hold. Then you may have to model this equation also. And in this equation you can do some assumptions, like for example the warping, you can compare the warping rigidity with versus a actual. So many times the warping things will be very very small compared to GJ. So you can neglect this, and then you can solve our equations of equilibrium. Or if warping rigidity is also very high, say, then you also have to include this one, and then you have to solve the problem. But once you may this torsion, these things comes, then it becomes a little bit tricky. Okay, so this is one the most important thing when we do in the stiffeners. So generally the analysis of the stiffeners for ordinary plate girders and others, so these things are neglected. Okay, so stiffener, assuming that the stiffener has only EI, GJ, then E times warping, warping rigidity, shear rigidity. Generally these things will be, we assume that the stiffener doesn't possess, these rigidities are very very small, so we neglect them in most of the calculations. Okay, but this we will include, that EI term will be included in our calculations. So now, so these are the boundary conditions. So now we have 8 constants. Now we have 8 boundary conditions. So 6 from the plate and the 2 which are coming from the stiffener, the shear force and the bending moment. Of course, bending moment is very easy. Since we are neglecting the torsional things here, so my2 will be same as my1 itself. Okay, so 8 boundary conditions. Now 8 constants are there. Now to write the equations in nice format, so we introduce some the new variables. Okay, so just some physical meaning kind of a thing. So the one is alpha, which is a by b, so aspect ratio of the plate. Okay, so aspect ratio of the plate, this is. Then we also include this gamma, which is the bending rigidity ratio, okay, of the stiffener as well as this plate. See, for the plate, what is the bending rigidity? See, for plate, say, what is the rigidity of a plate, flexural rigidity? For beam, what is the flexural
Capital
rigidity?
D.
Which one? Capital
Capital
D.
D.
D. Now for stiffener? For stiffener,
EI.
what's the EI only, that's all. Okay, so you substitute bending rigidity ratio, say, that is a D by this and that. So if I denote this as EI by dB kind of a thing. Okay, so this is our bending rigidity ratio, and then we define one more sum delta, which is A by the BH kind of a thing. So where A is the area of the stiffener. Okay, so this is the area of the stiffener, and B anyway is aspect ratio, and H is the thickness of our the plate itself. So dB. Okay, so this also we define. So this is a bending rigidity. So bending rigidity of a plate. So these are just some non-dimensional terms kind of a thing of a plate with width W. Okay, so these are our some terms to write nicely. Now here one more important thing, when you analyze stiffeners, say, suppose if it is failing in the first mode. Okay, so now the buckling will be, see, like this. So stiffener will be here actually. Suppose if it is breaking in the second mode, say, in that direction, so which means it is like this. So you will have a node point at this the stiffener itself. Okay, so this is our stiffener. So this is for n is equal to 1 or n is equal to 2 kind of a thing. Now what happens when it is buckling in the 2? Then this type of modes, what is it now here? What is the role of stiffener here? Now, so now what is the role of stiffener in 1, and what's the role of stiffener at n is equal to 2? So this is a symmetric mode. So you can have two modes, symmetric mode, then we can have anti-symmetric mode. Now, so now when it is anti-symmetric mode, say, what is the role of stiffener? Now, see whether stiffener will give you any additional strength or anything special it will does for the plate. Now, see now for anti-symmetric modes, say what happens when the stiffener is located like this and the plate is buckling like this, say. Now, what is the role of stiffener there? Whether it is of any use or useless?
Obviously, buckling strength will increase.
Buckling strength will increase. See now this type of a mode it is. So at stiffener, what is W?
0.
So when W is 0, what happens? See that Q is equal to, we have written right all the equations here. So what is a Q here? So we wrote Q as what is the bending equation for this one. So this is our equation for the stiffener. You followed. So now when you say W is 0, what will be Q?
0.
See what? So now what is the role of stiffener there?
Not playing any role.
Not playing any role. So this is a very important thing actually. Okay, so whenever you are having a stiffener, say, so when it is buckling in anti-symmetric mode, it's a useless kind of a thing. But in symmetric mode, definitely, since W is not 0, so it plays a major role. Okay, so this is a very important thing when you are doing this stiffeners also. Okay, so now generally stiffeners will play in symmetric modes. So this you followed right, not required. So anyway, n is equal to 1 itself is very important. Now if it is a symmetric mode, say, okay, so when the modes are symmetric, so now at this point we can write some more conditions. So the second derivative, so dou square W1 by dou x square, so this should be same actually because of symmetry. Okay, so this y is equal to 0 because of symmetry, we can write like this. And of course the third derivative, say, okay, W1 by dou y cube. So this one is also dou cube W2 by dou y cube. So we can write the boundary conditions because of symmetry, we can also write like this. Okay, so your q, that is q1 minus q2. Okay, so if you substitute these terms as minus 2d into dou cube W1 by dou y cube. Okay, so this is our y is equal to 0. And then so if we substitute in that beam that stiffener equation, minus 2d dou cube W1 by dou y cube at y is equal to 0. So this is equal to ei dou to the power of 4, say, W1 by dou x to the power of 4 plus nx. So we have dou square W1 by dou x square at y is equal to 0. Okay, so this is our that shear force, the equation of shear force, and this one. So now that big equation, whatever we wrote, say, so here for the shear force. Okay, so this big equation, so what happens is because of symmetry, second derivative is same, third derivative is minus of minus comes, so automatically so some of the terms gets cancelled here. So this automatically boils down to simply this type of a equation actual. Okay, so now we can write, we can combine this equation in nice format. So we can write in terms of gamma dou to the power W1 by dou x1 to the dou x to the power of 4. Now dou x to the power of 4 plus delta b t sigma c by capital D some dou square W1 by dou x square plus 2 times dou cube W1 by dou y cube. Okay, so at y is equal to 0 is equal to 0. Okay, so we have combined this equation only, everything on the right hand side, and then we have introduced these terms delta, same equation only, we have introduced these terms alpha, gamma, delta, if you write in terms of some non-dimensional quantities, say. Okay, so you get a nice equation, you see, in this is our original equation. So now we know all the boundary conditions, so we know all the constants. So now we will solve for all the unknowns. Okay, so you can solve for our C1, C2, C3, C4, then C1 bar, C2 bar, C3 bar, then C4 bar. So now you solve for all these conditions. So C1 C2, C3, C4, so C1 bar, C2 bar, then C3 bar, then the C4 bar. So if you substitute all those things, say, okay, so you will get finally some nice equations will be there. So and finally so you will have all of them will boil down to two type of conditions itself. So you have finally you can express, so by substituting in terms of some matrix kind of a thing. So you can write, you can, this is a little bit algebra, just it's very easy. You have to solve for all the boundary conditions. So automatically you will get some equations, and finally you will get some homogeneous equations. Right hand side will be 0. So as we have solved in the buckling case, so you can write like this. So the equations, it is little bit big. So k1 square cos hyperbolic terms will be there, k1 b by 2, then k1 square, then sine hyperbolic k1 b by 2, then minus k2 square cos k2 b by 2. So you will have big expressions will be there, minus k2 square sine k2. So you will get big equations. Okay, then cos hyperbolic k1 b by 2, then sine hyperbolic k1 b by 2, then cos k2 b by 2, then sine k2 b by 2. Then you have another, okay, so 0 k1 0 k2, and then we have from that big that Stifner equation, so we get gamma by b n to the power of 4 pi to the power of 4 by alpha to the power of 4 minus delta t sigma c db n square pi square by alpha square, then 2k1 cube. Then we have another big term comes here, so gamma by b cube to the power of 4 pi to the power of 4 by alpha to the power of 4 minus delta t sigma c by db n square pi square by alpha square, and the last terms minus 2k2 cube. Okay, so it's like a big the matrix kind of a terms comes. So you have from the boundary conditions. Okay, you have to do a lot of algebra here. I think if you want to write also this boundary condition, the first boundary condition, say, okay, so this c1 to just 1 second now, so that this comes from the equation. So this the last one, say, okay, so this comes from our this equation. Okay, now other equations also you can write that symmetry, then this c1 1 second. Now, so this equation, so these are they corresponds to dou square w1 say by dou y square is equal to 0 at y is equal to b by 2. Okay, so this condition is from w1 is equal to 0 at y is equal to b by 2. Okay, so like that you will get all the conditions, and this equation corresponds to of the symmetry. So that is dou w1 by dou y at y is equal to 0 is 0 because there is a maximum deflection there. And the last one, say, so this corresponds to this equation. Okay, so whatever you have, so now if you write all the terms here, so you will get all these quantities itself. So and you have the final the constants will be c1 c2 c3 c4 itself. So c1 bar c2 bar and other things terms goes away. So now for our buckling load, say, so this determinant of our 4 by 4 matrix has to be equated to 0 to solve for nx. So this also becomes very big, and if you simplify all those terms, say, okay, so if we integrate, if we introduce some another new constant, so gamma by this one n to the power of 4 pi to the power of 4 by alpha to the power of 4 minus delta t sigma c by d times b. So n square pi square by alpha square. If I indicate some zeta, say, okay, so finally this expression turns out to, after doing, you have to do a lot of algebra here to write it in a nice fashion. So equation turns 1 by k1, so tan hyperbolic, say, so k1 b by 2, okay, minus 1 by k2 1 by k2, so tan hyperbolic, so sorry, this is a tan, it is not a hyperbolic term, k2 b by 2. Okay, so one term, and another term will be gamma by b cube n to the power of 4 pi to the power of 4 by alpha to the power of 4 minus delta t sigma c by d times b. So n square pi square by alpha square minus 2 into k1 square plus k2 square is equal to 0. So this is a very big equation you have. So now you have to solve this equation for k1 k2. You have in the k1 k2 sigma c, so you have the terms nx ny, all those terms will be there. So now you have to solve this transcendental equation. Okay, for nx. So by solving this you will get the buckling load. Okay, so this is how you have to solve when you are having a plate with stiffener. Of course it looks complex, but if you want to do it in a closed form solution, say, so this is how you have to solve our problem itself. Okay, so now this is the one way. So now this generally so this plate with the stiffeners, say, another alternative way is you can use this energy methods also, which is very simple kind of a thing you can do also. Okay, so this is how the big the transcendental equation you have for stiffeners. Okay, the very important thing, and is a closed form solution. Now if you are but here when you try to here what we have obtained this by solving the exact equations of the equilibrium itself, but the closed form solutions becomes complex. Suppose if you are having a plate with these many stiffeners, say, okay, so you have put several stiffeners, one here, then another here, say, okay. So then the solution becomes much more complex, and then you will be having the complex transcendental equations itself when you are having 2-3 many more stiffeners are there. Okay, so now if you want some simplified things to say, so you can solve the same problem with energy methods also. Okay, let us just try for one problem. Okay. So now in the last class, you say, okay, so sometimes what happens is in last class I already told you, see, sometimes in our plates this one, so what happens is sometimes instead of writing the equations of equilibrium, say, you can also write in terms of the normalized equations also, which I think I wrote in the last class. Okay, so let me just write once again. Just 1 second. So as already I told you, so so this is our plate equations, say, okay. So dou to the power of 4 w by dou x to the power of 4 plus 2 times by dou x square dou y square plus dou to the power of 4 w by dou y to the power of 4 plus nx by d dou square w by dou x square. Okay, this is our plate equation. So last class I already told you, sometimes in plates, say, instead of solving this equation, we also write as some a times psi and y is equal to b times eta. So where psi and eta are non-dimensional quantities. Okay, so this also sometimes this becomes easy to solve. So then the equations of equilibrium will be by dou psi to the power of 4 plus 2a square by b square dou to the power of 4 w by dou psi square dou eta square plus a4 by b4 dou to the power of 4 w by dou eta to the power of 4 plus nx by d a square into dou square w by dou psi square. Okay, so sometimes what happens is so instead of solving this equation, say, we can solve this equation also. Only advantage is you can both are same only. Only thing is now x and y, say, they vary from 0 to a, and y will vary from 0 to b itself. But the advantage is psi will vary from 0 to 1, and eta, say, this also will vary from 0 to 1 itself. And the units of psi and eta are non-dimensional, no units for them. So both of them are same. Sometimes it becomes easy to solve this equation for say, is also fine itself. Okay, so now let us see this thing by doing by this method, that is the non-dimensional equations, for the stiffeners. So now we will use the same problem itself, whatever we solved previously. So the same issue itself. Okay. So now we will take the same problem, but we will make it more general. So I have a plate like this. Okay, now our coordinates are x and y. So now I have a plate which is B, and this is A. So now connected to this nx. Okay, we have. So now I will assume a stiffener here, not at the center, at any other point. And the stiffener distance is at a distance of some eta I. Okay, so like this I have many stiffeners on the beam itself. So now instead of solving x and y, say we are solving in psi and eta. Okay, so ni is the distance of the stiffener, distance of ith stiffener. So from y is equal to this 0. Okay, so many stiffeners are there, say. So eta 1 means one stiffener, eta 2 means you can have several stiffeners also. So now we will try to solve this problem from the energy methods. Okay, so not from this closed form solution. So that is from the energy method, or y is equal to 0 or eta is equal to 0. Okay, so now here say, so now so now in our energy method, I assume that all the sides are simply supported. So this is our assumption. So now let us solve by this Rayleigh-Ridge method. You can use Galerkin approach also. Okay, so whichever is easy you can try. Galerkin also may be easy, because the equation of equilibrium and the equation of equilibrium of the stiffener, so it may be easy to solve by Galerkin also. I'm just doing with Rayleigh-Ridge. You can try with Galerkin approach also. Now all the sides are simply supported. Say, what is the starting point in energy method? What is that you have to do? The first thing.
Assume the mode shape.
What is the mode shape here? All the sides are simply supported. You may have n number of stiffeners. So I runs from some 1 to several stiffeners also. Maybe there's some 1 to r kind of a thing. Say you don't have one stiffener. Several stiffeners also may be there. Now how do you write the approximation? So this is my plate. I have one stiffener here. Distance is this eta 1. Then I have another stiffener here. Okay, and this distance is eta 2. Like that I have some several stiffeners are there, say. Okay, and now how do you write this w? What is the approximation? And all the edges are simply supported. So that is a clue we have given. So now how do you write it? What is the deflection here?
Sinusoidal.
Sinusoidal only, but how many terms you have to include? One term is sufficient. Sin pi x by a, sin pi y by a itself is sufficient, or you have to take several terms?
R terms, number.
So now many terms. Why? Because the buckling mode shape you followed, right? The first mode will be like this, but if you are having several stiffeners, what happens? You can have several mode shapes also are possible actually. Okay, so let us say in this simple problem we take you don't know how many are there, so m is equal to 1 to infinity, so n is equal to 1 to infinity. General, we are writing the solution general, but we can increase the terms later. Okay, so a mn. So sine, so now since we are writing in the non-dimensional form, say, so you can write m pi psi sine n pi eta itself. Suppose if you are writing in the original equations, say, so now we write psi is equal to m pi x by a, then sine n pi y by b kind of a thing we used to. Now x by a is replaced with this one. y by y with respect to eta. So what that is, only thing is these are all non-dimensional. Okay, and now we have to calculate the strain energies. So now the bending strain energy, like previously we have solved in our last class, no membrane strain energy, only bending strain energy. Okay, so you substitute on that big the expression say, so you can write this as we already solved in our last class. So d pi to the power of 4 by 8 p some a square m is equal to 1 to infinity, n is equal to 1 to infinity. So a square mn m square plus some p square n square whole square. Okay, so this is our the bending. Now here what happens when you're calculating the strain energies, what extra strain energy will come into calculation apart from the plate? See now here the strain energy is, what is the strain energy for this stiffened plate?
Strain energy is stiffener.
What is the stiffener strain energy? So what is happening to the stiffeners? See, when you apply this compressive load, what is happening? The deflection is the out of plane. So what is happening to the stiffener? So stiffener also is getting, see, originally stiffener is like this. Okay, now what is happening? The stiffener is also getting bending is there. We followed, right? So now what strain energy will be there for the stiffener?
Bending strain.
Bending strain. What is the bending strain? You know, right? M square by that 2EI integral 0 to L. All those expressions you know. So we are writing this one. So EI, of course, of the ith stiffener. Okay. So by some 2A cube, so 0 to L, then dou square W say by dou psi square whole square. So eta is equal to eta I. Okay. So d psi. So this is our bending strain energy, same as our old expression. So now if you substitute the W say, so you will get a pi to the power of 4. So EI of the ith stiffener. Okay. So 4AQ. So sigma, m is equal to 1 to infinity. So you have to integrate. So m to the power of 4. So we have a m1 sine pi into eta I plus a m2. Okay. So sine 2 pi. Oh, sorry. Sine 2 pi eta 1 eta I. So like this we have all the terms actual. So now if you're having several stiffeners are there say, so this is for the ith stiffener. So let me write this also properly. So this is for the ith stiffener. So if you're having 10 stiffeners say, so you will have extra 10 strain energies come to picture from each of the stiffeners actual. Now we have to compute the potential energy. Okay. So now we have here also potential energy. There are two potential energies. One is a potential energy from the plate. Last class we already wrote that nx into that d square w by dx square will be there. So here if you substitute say, so sigma n is equal to 1 to infinity. So sigma m is equal to 1 to infinity. So we have nx into a square mn into m square. So these are bendings, the potential energy or the work done by the load for the plate, this one. And now you have to calculate what is the extra potential energy will be there, right? What is that extra potential energy here? So in strain energy also you had some extra which came from the stiffener. Now for potential energy, say what extra potential energy will come apart from the plate?
Due to stiffness.
So but what type of energy is the stiffener? So in the stiffener also you have a small the energy is there. Okay, so this is our stiffener say. So the small thing nx into dy or whatever if you write here. So now the stiffener, how it is acting, the stiffener. So the same stiffener if I do the stiffener is like this, I'm just rotating the stiffener by 90 degrees. So you are having a stiffener like this. So what is a stiffener here? What is happening to the stiffener during buckling say? So it acts just like a
column.
Column itself. What is the work done by the column? You know, right? Work done in the column long back we have written minus p by 2. You remember, no? That 0 to L. that second derivative was there. So now we write the work done, say. So for the stiffeners, okay. So this one will be minus the load which comes on the each stiffener. So 2a, so integral 0 to L. So dose W by dose psi whole square. So same which we have derived from the column d psi. So this you followed, it comes from the column strain energy. Okay. So now you substitute, say, all the things. So minus psi into pi square by 4a sigma m is equal to 1 to infinity. So m square. So a m1 sine pi times eta I. Okay. So plus a m2 sine 2 pi eta I plus a dash dash. So you will have whole square. So these are the energies. So now you have, so if there are 10 stiffeners are there, say, so then your potential energy also you will be having extra 10 terms apart from the plate. In the strain energy also you will have some extra 10 terms which comes from all these individual stiffeners itself. Okay. So anyway, I will stop here. So now already we reached the 9:50. Okay. So we will continue in our next class this derivation. Okay. So if you have anything to ask, you can ask. I hope all of you have got the assignment, right?